Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. In an industry where love sells, Wang Yibo walked away. He turned down romance, not once, not twice, but again and again. Why would one of Asia's most beloved stars say no to the roles that made him a global heartthrob? The answer might just change the way you see fame, passion, and purpose forever. Wang Yibo's rise to fame wasn't accidental. It was meteoric. He captivated millions with his effortless charm, flawless visuals, and magnetic screen presence. For years, he embodied the ideal of the romantic lead, playing characters that made hearts race and fueled dreams across Asia. But behind the carefully curated spotlight, something quietly unraveled. Stardom, once a dream, had started to feel more like a silent prison. As his popularity surged, the roles he was offered became more predictable. Each new script felt eerily familiar, as though he were being asked to replay the same character with a different name. Slowly, he began to feel detached from the performances, his creative spirit stifled by repetition and commercial formulas. The emotional depth he craved to explore was buried beneath surface-level romances and picture-perfect storylines. It was no longer about acting, it was about staying beautiful, staying popular, staying safe. But Yibo is not someone who settles for safety. With quiet defiance, he began turning down roles that no longer inspired him, even when they promised massive commercial success. It wasn't rebellion. It was self-preservation. It was a search for meaning in a world built on illusion. To many, this decision seemed baffling. Why walk away from what others only dream of? But to Yibo it was essential. Fame had given him everything except freedom. In that moment, he chose something rare in the entertainment world: truth over comfort. He dared to question the system that made him a star and decided to reclaim his voice. And that was the true breaking point. Not of a career, but of a boundary. He didn't just walk away from love roles. He walked toward himself. Wang Yibo's transformation didn't happen overnight. It began with a decision and then with roles that demanded more than presence. They required vulnerability, grit, and a willingness to let go of the polished exterior the world had grown to expect from him. With each new character, he stepped further away from the safe comfort of idle dramas and deeper into the raw, uncertain terrain of real storytelling. In Hidden Blade, Yibo stripped away the layers of perfection to inhabit a man haunted by secrecy and survival. There was no room for vanity in that role, only truth. His performance was measured, restrained, yet impossibly intense, revealing the kind of quiet torment that lingers long after the final frame. It was a turning point not only for his image but for his identity as an actor. For the first time, critics stopped seeing him as a pop idol trying to act, and began recognizing a serious performer capable of carrying weighty, layered narratives. Then came Born to Fly, a project that pushed him both physically and emotionally. Playing a fighter pilot demanded discipline, endurance, and mental transformation. He trained rigorously, not just to act the part but to live it, to understand the burden of duty, the pride of national service, and the solitude of sacrifice. These weren't just performances. They were acts of becoming. Each role reshaped not only his craft but his character. Through these films, Yibo found a new language of expression, one not rooted in fan service, but in emotional honesty. This was no longer the story of an idol expanding his portfolio. It was the story of a man reconstructing his purpose, one role at a time. In shedding the image the world adored, Wang Yibo found something infinitely more powerful: respect. For Wang Yibo, silence has never been an absence. It has always been a choice. While the world speculated, debated, and theorized over his refusal to take on romance roles, he offered no public explanation, no defensive interviews, no clarifications. Instead, he let his work speak. And in that silence lies a powerful truth. Some answers aren't owed. They're earned through action, integrity, and restraint. His no wasn't a rejection of love itself, but of the shallow, predictable portrayals that romance roles had come to represent. For someone who values authenticity above applause, stepping into scripted affection without purpose felt dishonest. He didn't want to act in stories that relied on chemistry instead of character, or in scenes designed to please algorithms more than hearts. He wasn't seeking the approval of fans who already adored him. He was seeking meaning that went beyond the screen. Behind this decision was also something more personal. Fame can make intimacy feel public, and Yibo has always guarded his private life with quiet conviction. He understood that romantic roles blur boundaries. They invite speculation, they ignite rumors, and they often overshadow the craft itself. In choosing to distance himself, he wasn't closing doors. He was protecting something sacred. His identity, his values, and his voice. Perhaps most importantly, Yibo said no because he could. In an industry where so many feel forced to comply, his refusal was an act of strength. It told the world that he is not here to play parts that don't reflect who he is or what he believes. His silence is not emptiness. It is full of intention, of quiet resistance, of vision. And in that quiet, a bold truth echoes. The loudest statements aren't always shouted. They're simply lived. Wang Yibo's journey is not a solitary one. It is part of a wider movement, a quiet revolution stirring within the heart of global entertainment. Across China and beyond, a new generation of actors is rising, young, immensely talented, and no longer satisfied with roles designed only to please. They are pushing against the old formulas, rejecting typecasting, and reshaping what it means to be a star. Yibo stands among them, not as a lone outlier, but as a symbol of change that's already underway. Fellow actors like Wu Lei and Chen Feiyu are also shedding their idle skins, walking away from comfortable scripts and stepping into narratives that demand introspection, courage, and a sense of truth. Wu Lei's recent choices reveal a hunger for stories that touch the soul rather than flatter the eye, while Chen Feiyu's return to cinema after personal setbacks has reminded audiences that artistry can be redemptive, even in the face of public scrutiny. This isn't just a shift in casting, it's a shift in mindset. Audiences around the world are changing too. They're no longer content with surface-level spectacle. They want nuance, depth, emotion. They want to feel something real. And these actors, Yibo among them, are answering that call, not with fan service, but with fierce honesty and evolving skill. In this global transformation, Yibo isn't simply keeping pace, he's helping to lead. His decisions carry weight not only because of who he is, but because of what he represents. The courage to choose legacy over likes, substance over spotlight, truth over trend. Together with his peers, he is showing the world that fame doesn't have to mean conformity, and that sometimes the most powerful roles are the ones that rewrite the rules entirely. Wang Yibo's choices are no longer about building fame, they are about building something that lasts. In a world where instant recognition often overshadows enduring value, Yibo has quietly chosen the harder path, one that values legacy over limelight. It's a path that demands patience, clarity, and an unwavering sense of purpose. For him, success is not measured by trending charts or viral moments, but by the impact of a story well told and a character deeply lived. This vision for the future is not rooted in nostalgia or rebellion, but in growth. Yibo has outgrown the frame of an idol. He no longer seeks to charm his audience. He seeks to challenge them, to move them, to reflect something back to them that's honest and, at times, uncomfortable. His recent roles show this evolution clearly. Complex, morally conflicted, rooted in real emotion rather than fantasy. He is no longer playing characters for applause, but for truth. He has come to understand what many never do, that fame is fleeting, but integrity leaves a mark. Each project he takes on now feels like a deliberate stroke on a larger canvas. He's aligning himself with directors who tell stories that matter, with scripts that leave space for silence, pain, redemption. It's not about how many people watch, it's about what they carry with them after the screen goes dark. In this quiet recalibration of his career, Yibo is doing more than acting. He's setting a new standard for what it means to be an artist in today's world. His name may once have been associated with beauty and fandom, but now it is becoming synonymous with depth, discipline, and vision. And that is the kind of legacy that no spotlight can outshine. As streaming platforms push fast content, Yibo is doing the opposite, slowing down, choosing wisely, thinking decades ahead. His roles aren't always likable. They're not meant to make you swoon. They're meant to make you feel. He's not asking to be your favorite. He's asking to be remembered. Maybe one day, but when he does, it won't be nostalgia. It won't be fan service. It'll be revolutionary. A love story that's raw, real, and transformative. Until then, Wang Yibo isn't chasing romance. He's chasing truth. Megaphone final take. A star who walked away to rise higher. Wang Yibo could have taken the easy road. He could have stayed a heartthrob forever. But instead, he walked toward the unknown, toward risk, toward truth. And in doing so, he became unforgettable. If this story moved you even just a little, hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore the untold journeys behind the biggest stars in Asia. Speech Balloon got thoughts on Wang Yibo's bold choices? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And remember, sometimes the strongest love story is the one you write with yourself. Movie Camera, thanks for watching. This is your channel name, and we'll see you in the next story.